7.
Was it? All right, go ahead.
The bee story.
We've
Start
been
off
over
on the
cutting
bee
grass. Vic and I cut the grass at the church at that time. That particular weekend, my cousin Larry was spending the weekend with us, so we had ridden our bicycles over there. So it's Larry on my bike and Mike on Mike's bike. And we're getting ready to leave the church and found a nest in the ground. A little incline beside the parking lot, pretty much where you were parked today.
Okay.
So somehow we tripped it and the bees came out, and the only one that got caught up in all of that was Larry. One of them flew up his nose and stung him. Now that in itself is a fun story. But the worst part of the story is the next day when we have church, I'm aware of the nest being there. So I go out and I'm standing a couple of feet away from the nest, and I don't think it's a good idea for the nest to be there for somebody to potentially trip. So I got a rock and I threw it at the nest to kind of get the bees away, which again wasn't a good idea. Now that particular, it's on, like I said, it's at the bottom of a little hill that goes up to the parking lot. And as I threw the rock down, it hit just in front, and then it picks up momentum and flies rolling up the hill. As it goes up the hill, it takes flight, and it lands on David Nelson's windshield in his car.
Oh my.
Busts the windshield.
Oh wow.
Now, nobody's in the parking lot except for me,
Maybe you should have played baseball instead.
and nobody's around, so nobody witnessed it. But I had to get back to get in the choir to get into church because the church service hadn't started. So I'm sitting there for a full hour during the church service, knowing I just busted out this window. And then at some point I got to tell somebody. So right after church, the person I tell is Dad. And
Oh, that went over well, didn't it?
well, I guess it could have been worse. I mean,
Well, you were in church, so that's good.
and it wasn't done intentionally, but it still was. And I think what might have helped was that David didn't do it.
Their pizza.
But to walk up to Dad and say, hey, I actually had to walk back out there and make sure, yeah, you really did break that windshield. You got to go tell. So I had to go in there and tell him during church.
Nice.
Wow. It's hot. It's hot.
We took a piece by mistake.
All right.
Thieves.
That's one.